Hi, 𝐇𝐎𝐁𝐎 from Hope Venture.
This is Dan from Vagabond Awake.
Well, I decided to make a video about Guatemala because we will spend a couple months in Guatemala. And when I'm posting my video about Guatemala, especially Guatemala City, people would think it's a very dangerous place to go. Like, how dangerous can be? They have Uber there. It's maybe some part of the Guatemala is dangerous, but some part of Guatemala is not dangerous. Like Guatemala City is Zone 4, Zone 10 is pretty good area, safe area. And then what I love about Guatemala is Antigua and Lake Atitlan. What about you?
Guatemala is one of my favorite countries for a number of reasons, which I'm sure we'll get into, but I would agree with that. My two favorite places in Guatemala are Antigua and Lake Atitlan.
Yeah, and talk about the dangers in Guatemala, which is what I read in the internet, is they say the Zone 1, which is the old town areas, is very dangerous. I was walking in the old town that time with my GoPro, and then a car passed by saying that keep your GoPro inside your bag. It's very dangerous. Like, how dangerous? But, we just keep walking like that, and we see a lot of shops. They will hire a personal guide with a gun, and even if a truck is delivering the soda, they also have a security guard with a gun on the truck.
Yeah, but we only saw that in Guatemala City.
Yeah, it's only in Guatemala City, but when walking around in the daytime, it's really fine for tourist purposes, that I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, the zone she mentions, we spent some time in, and we really didn't see much in the way of danger there.
Yeah, it's only particular zones, not all around in Guatemala City.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's go back to the topic, why I love Guatemala, but it's only in Antigua and the Lake Atitlan.
Yeah, and I should also say I did a search on Guatemala in terms of safety, and on the Global Peace Index, it ranked 50th out of 160 countries they ranked recently. So it's in the forgive me, 50th. Did I say 60?
50.
It's ranked 50th out of 150, and it's 50th. But to give you an idea, if you've been to Thailand, Thailand's 47th. That means if Thailand is slightly more dangerous, and I don't even think Thailand is dangerous. There are parts of Bangkok which you can get into trouble in, which is true of any city in the world, but that's at least one ranking, because since we haven't seen danger, I thought I would look and see what outside sources are saying. That was the Global Peace Index.
Yes, and the first one is what I love about Antigua and Lake Atitlan is the weather. It's a very nice weather with a mountain view and a lake as well. What they call Eternal Spring, right?
Oh, Eternal Spring?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's a mile high, so even though it's at near, closer to the equator than, say, Mexico or other places in Central America that we love, it's so high that it remains cool year-round.
It's about 1,700 meters high, which is you don't need to have an AC.
Yeah.
And in the hot part of the day, like noontime, maybe you will need a fan, that's all. But in the night and the morning, it's very nice temperature, which is you don't need AC, and you don't need a fan.
We didn't use the AC in either.
No.
Either Lake Atitlan or Antigua.
They don't have AC as well.
They didn't even have AC.
And you not even need a heater as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
We didn't use heat or air, and I was comfortable the whole time I was there.
Yes, that is a good place and a good thing. Yeah. And the second is a positive
vibes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a positive vibes that I feel, especially in the Lake Atitlan, in San Marco, and there's a smiling face around. We was party in the San Pedro. I was a little bit drunk, go to buy my street food, and I forget to pay for my the payment. And then I was like taking my food and just walk toward to the home, and then I was, hey, I forget to pay, and then I turned back, I smiled, and then the lady also smiled back to me and said, sorry, I forget to pay.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's, I would say the the people of Guatemala are very friendly people, and they often have a smile on their face. And so there's a great attitude there, I would say.
Yeah.
So it's good for that.
Yeah, and the third one is their traditional food. They have a lot of food choices that you can pick in the Antigua and also in the Lake Atitlan. Lake Atitlan also have a lot of foreign foods. Antigua also have, but they also have their local food. The local food is about like $2.50 to $3 for a meal with a beverage, you know.
Beverage,
and,
yeah.
And it's delicious.
Yeah.
It's delicious to
Yeah,
me.
the Mayans are still a huge influence on the culture there, even though a lot of their, whatever, grandkids and kids have become more westernized. It's still, I would say, the major cultural force in Guatemala, which is the clothing, the arts, the traditions, the Mayan traditions are very strong there, and the communities are strong, and that's one of the reasons I think has such a interesting, all the colors and the arts and everything makes Guatemala one of the more interesting places in Central America.
Yes, and their typical foods is the rice with the chicken, pork, beef, whatever you want, and a salad on the side, and the beans, and the water. And I also like their grilled meats like beef, chicken, sausage, and pork. And then I love that because they have a lot of side dish for me to pick it on with the tortilla and spring onion, and spices. So I love that. That's what I have in San Pedro every time when I drunk, go home.
Yeah, it's a great place. And now that you mention it, I mean, it's not like we were hiding in our house at night. We were going out in the evening and walking around. And it was both in Lake Atitlan and in Antigua. And I've also been to other parts of Guatemala. I've been to Flores, which is where one of the largest Mayan ruined temples are, and I've been to Champay, and I really haven't felt in danger anywhere in Guatemala. But we haven't spent that much time in Guatemala City, just a few days, so maybe that's where all the upset is. So.
Yeah, so I think that's all upset is in Guatemala City. And the next one is, I love that because even in Lake Atitlan or in Antigua, they have Mercado. And because the weather is cooling weather, so their vegetables are fresh, and it's a very reasonable price. I mean, it's cheap, compared with other countries, in Central America.
For those of you new to Spanish, we're new to Spanish, but mercado just means market. And again, in much of Mexico and Central America and South America, they have central markets. And Guatemala is no exception. And there you can buy fruits and vegetables from the farmers directly, and arts and crafts from the local or the Mayan people.
Basically, we found this mercado, and then we just buying things in the mercado, that's all.
Yeah.
We only go to the supermarket to buy something that we cannot get in the mercado, like a cranberry.
Yeah.
I think cranberry, that's all.
Yeah, a few things, but that's all I can remember right now too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and that means cheaper prices.
Yes.
Often the grocery stores are charging more, and that, maybe because they have employees and they're renting a big space and they're air conditioning and all that. But an open market, often you'll find better prices.
Yeah.
So.
And also the next one is the happy hour in this both place. And you're gonna have a huge, nice happy hour, Lake Atitlan in San Pedro, in the Panajachel. They also have a nightlife over there, $1 beer night, $1 cocktail night, whatever, just very nice. And we was in the Panajachel, and so we will walk past by, we will just have a beer, and then they have people dancing over there. The owner also invite you to go for a dance.
Yeah, and it was interesting because in different parts of the world, in cities where there's a nightlife, often it's all just modern Western music, but which isn't always true in Guatemala. We were dancing, with more folk music and local music, and
that was in the Panajachel in Lake Atitlan.
And it wasn't just a bunch of expats all dancing together. We were dancing with local people, which was fun.
But in Antigua, it's mostly we was out and enjoying the beautiful sunset view over the mountains and have a beer, have a food. That is what we do most of the time.
Yeah, so happy hour is great there, that's
so
true.
It's called happy hour and easy life over there.
Yeah, and those happy hours often have, as you know, decent food too, finger food and whatnot, priced right.
Yeah.
So.
The next one also is when you talk about that, they have a culture that you will see indigenous people or they dress out and the artisans, the arts, you know, everything that you can buy in Antigua and Lake Atitlan. I would prefer to say you buy it in Lake Atitlan, they are more authentic and you will be helping to the local people. Yeah. Yeah.
Another thing I really noticed in Guatemala is that it's not really the people that you found there, I should say expats that you find in Guatemala, they're a little more traveled, and so they're sometimes a little more interesting to talk to because it's not really a first level place you go to when you're first starting to travel around the world. Mm-hmm. It's like a second or third level, I would say. You know, people don't think of places like Guatemala or Nicaragua. Mm-hmm. They start out by thinking Mexico and Costa Rica. And so when you go somewhere like Guatemala and you strike up a conversation with an expat, you can really have a nice conversation about how, if you like this town, what town is it like, and where else have you been? And they often are more students of culture rather than teachers. In some of the new places, like in Mexico, and Mexico has some very deep, interesting places. So I'm not knocking Mexico; it's one of my favorite places. But in some of the places where people often go, all of their friends go, usually some of the conversations you have are more about what's wrong with the country, why aren't they selling this or that, instead of what's interesting about this country. And so in Guatemala, you'll find really interesting, well-traveled people that are focused more, if you will, on what makes a country interesting rather than why it's not like at home.
Yes, and also that I make quite a lot of video about Guatemala that if you want to know, especially in Antigua and Lake Atitlan, only these two places, about the nightlife, about the food, about the place that we stay, just check it out. And so
you have a playlist too, right? For Guatemala?
I have a playlist too in Guatemala. You can check out on the link above. Yeah. And also, you also have
I have playlists for all the countries that I've visited in the last 5 years, say.
And about the cost of living, how much in Lake Atitlan and in Antigua, which is we're talking right now. Yeah. And also, one thing is what I love about these two places is they have Uber. So if you don't speak Spanish, wow, Uber, easy. Yeah. We take Uber in Lake Atitlan also, and Lake Atitlan in Panajachel to go to any place, or in Antigua as well. Or we also take Uber from Guatemala City to go to Lake Atitlan and Panajachel by Uber. Yeah,
and she makes a good point. Even though Guatemala is not as well known as some of the other countries, in Latin America, they do have a lot of Spanish or English speakers there. Yes. So you can, in cities like Antigua and many parts of Lake Atitlan, you can get away with very little Spanish, if no Spanish at all. And Uber's a good example of that. You just put where you're going, and they come right to your door and take you to the door without saying a word. So.
Yeah, that's so good. That's definitely, Antigua or Lake Atitlan is definitely my favorite place, one of my favorite places in Latin America.
Definitely. And it's also cheaper, it seems like. For some reason, Guatemala is remained relatively cheap. It's gotten more expensive over the years, but it's still a good place cost-wise.
Yeah, just think about that. The famous place that we go for the breakfast and lunch. The breakfast is only 20, local money, which is like $3. Yeah, for a set with a coffee, with the meat and blah blah blah. I think it's good. I think it's about $3-4 is good. Yeah,
and there's rents. Like I have a video tour of apartments you can rent for as little as like $250 a month on my channel. So it's still an affordable, Antigua that is. It's still an affordable place. So. Yes. Which is nice, a lot of and it's a beautiful place. So, a lot of those beautiful places, the prices have gone up more than Antigua.
And one more thing is a bonus if you live if you go to visit Antigua or Lake Atitlan, because to go for the Spanish class, is the most cheaper Spanish cars in the whole Latin America. This is what they say. So I have a good deal to learn Spanish in Antigua. I would take a week.
Yeah.
But ask about my Spanish, not. I didn't practice after that, so.
It's coming along though. You learn a word here and there every day. So.
So my Spanish is still so. It still can be basic communication. That's all.
Yeah, we know how to ask how much something costs. ¿Cuántos?
Yeah. ¿Cuánto cuesta? Dos cervezas, por favor.
Baños. I mean, we're very basic. But.
I learned the whole sentences. Like,
yeah?
Oh my God! Suddenly I couldn't remember.
Stage fright.
Stage fright.
¿Dónde las manos?
No, ¿dónde el baño? It still have a word, but I really cannot remember. It's too. You cannot test me like this. You need to tell me. Hey, I'm going to test you later. So
yeah, tell her when you're going to test her.
Yeah, that is the thing, and what I love about Antigua and Lake Atitlán in Guatemala, which is I don't feel dangerous when I traveling in these two places.
You don't feel in danger.
I don't feel in
You're
danger.
always dangerous. Hey, and check out while you're there, if you can, check out Flores. It's a relatively new place that was discovered, one of the largest Mayan civilization that was grown over by the jungle that you can go to north of Antigua.
Yeah.
And
So that is the video. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, comment,
and subscribe.
And comment. And we will see you in the next video.
Do you like Chung's new haircut?
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.